How's everybody? What's new? What's new? Happy Thursday, gang. Happy whatever day it is, right? You know? Let me just... as usual, we got a bunch of stuff to kind of talk about here. How do I get rid of this? Does that make it go away? Alrighty, gang. How's everybody? Where's Ro? No Ro? So, if you want to come? Did you do? Okay. We're good, Bree? We hit the button? That a girl. Alrighty, gang. Good morning. Leah, come on, baby. Front row. You sit right there, you know? There you go. Everybody signed in, right? Suzanne's going to grab the sign-in sheet, right, Suze? Suze is going to grab the sign-in sheet, so we have no one else signing in. It's the elephant in the room. Let's get it over with and move on. You know, bunch of stuff to talk about. I'm going to spend maybe 8 seconds on this. No, I'm kidding. Maybe 5 minutes. If we have time at the end, I'll give you some more details. But everyone is aware of this? Does anybody really care? No. Nobody really cares. Nobody really cares.
That Fight Club is a secret.
It is. That's exactly what it is. It's a Fight Club, you know? But every quarter, just so you know, you're invited to a broker forum down at LVR. You get the emails. You don't read them, so you don't show up. That's okay. But you should, because you missed a good one, obviously. You missed a really good one here, you know? But every quarter, Mary and Josh will do a broker forum. This one, they had the NAR attorney on Zoom for 45 minutes, telling us everything that's going on with the lawsuit. Most of the stuff we know, okay? But it was to kind of reinforce that the typical agent, which is not you, of course, what is NAR doing? I paid them all this money. They're not doing anything. You know, this is horrible. You don't have any idea what they're doing and the millions of dollars they're spending trying to defend these lawsuits, okay? And that's kind of what he talked about, okay? Come on in. Thanks. And then during these broker forums, when you get there, coincidentally, there's a card like this when you come in, and it's a blank index card. So if you want to ask the panel a question, you write it down. Been doing it for years. Very simple process. One of the people in the audience, a broker from Simply Vegas, Eric Mendoza, really good guy, didn't write down his question. I don't know why, but as Josh finished the questions, Eric stands up and says, Josh, you didn't read my goddamn question. What the F is wrong with you? Kind of loud. And Josh goes, well, I don't have an index card, Eric. What do you want me to do? Oh, I didn't fill it out because I know you wouldn't read it anyway. So, you know, it's going downhill right away, okay? And then another broker in the front row stands up and says, Eric, dude, we're having a meeting. Just let this go. It's not that important. You shut the F up too. You're a R word. I'm not going to say the R word, but he called them an R. And then one guy steps towards the other, one steps towards the other. Aldo jumps in the middle. Security comes. Aldo, it's me, Aldo, and these two guys. And I'm sitting there, I ain't getting involved in this shit. Aldo jumps in and, you know, says, break it up. They call security. Two of them come in, escort him out. It was like a protest rally. You ever see when they drag a protester out and like this? And they're dragging him out, and he's in his head is turned, screaming back at the crowd. That's what he was doing. So I don't know. And Eric's a good guy. He had a bad day. So, but it doesn't affect anything other than stuff like this in the paper, which not a really good look. Not a really good look. And most of what's in there is accurate, but you got the email from LVR, and we posted it on Facebook where they made a statement. What happened. And on my mother's eyes, that's exactly what happened. What they said in here is a little off, okay? Because they're getting it second or third hand, okay? But that's that, okay? No questions? Fantastic. Let's move on. Okay, let's move on. Okay, there we go. So we got that out of our system here. Before we get to our incredible guests, which you guys know who these gals are, okay? Me and Wendy have some questions for them. If you have any, do not write them on an index card, okay? a little bit more civil here. You can raise your hand, okay? Okay, as long as it's a nice question, okay? Nothing too crazy here, okay? Jennifer couldn't make it. She is not feeling well. She has the flu, okay? But any escrow questions that Laura and, Kathleen don't know, Barbara's going to answer. Yeah. You know, that deed restriction thing and the whole trust documents, Barbara's got that down, you know? No, I don't have it down either, Barbara, don't feel bad. But we'll get to, so a couple things before we start. In case you didn't know, we're celebrating St. Patrick's Day today. If you want to run out and come back at noon with something Irish, I don't know, cookies, green beer, it'd be nice. We're going to have some corned beef and cabbage, all that kind of stuff up front around noon, Suze.
For 6 hours yesterday on my day off.
Woo!
Wow.
Those 2 crock pots, right?
Wow.
Very nice. See? She wanted the day off. We gave it to her, and she worked.
Wow.
Don't quite get that, but that's what she did, okay? So we're going to have some fun with this for a couple hours. In case you didn't know, your LVR dues are due April 4th. $300, right?
At least it's not 6.
Right, it's 6th of January, okay? If you're not on the Smart Pay plan, get on the Smart Pay plan. That's the $100 a month. Or, I don't know, it's not 100, it's 107 or 114. Or anyone on the Smart Pay? How much is it a month? Okay, yeah, she doesn't even know. It just goes on a credit card. Alicia's loaded. She doesn't care. She just pays it, yeah? But that's what you need to get on. So you're not hit with the $600 bill in January or $300 today and $400 in October, I think, okay? So just call down there. They'll tell you how it's set up, and that's the easier way to go, I think, okay? But that's coming up in a couple days, or next month, I'm sorry. This is tomorrow. It's sold out, the general membership luncheon. If you didn't register, you should have, okay? Because these are always really good. A fight might break out, too. You never know. Could be a fight. My recommendation, though, if you want to go, but I didn't tell you this, okay? Show up, okay? And just when they open the doors, just walk in and look for the Realty One Group table and plot your ass down. You're not going to get credit for being there. You can't take the CE class because you didn't register. But if you want to come to the luncheon, no one's going to know, okay? If they do ask you, tell them Mary said it was okay to do that. Mary Perry, that's right. Mary has your back here, okay? But you really need to go to these things. They're really a lot of fun. You get to meet realtors that you haven't met before. Supposedly the speaker's name is Caleb Campbell. I Googled this guy. I mean, he seems like he's, what's the word, what's the $6 million man? He was bionic. Yeah, this guy is amazing. So he's very motivational, really good speaker. So I'm anxious to see him. And plus, you get, the little realtor tchotchkes, we call them. Yes. There you go. Are you going to have a table?
I'm not.
No table?
I have a table this time. We can only have so many.
So many tables.
Yeah, a year as a vendor. But I always tell agents it's a great time to just collect stuff. Even if you don't want it for yourself, it's a great thing to put in an open house, just a basket. It's great talking, opens up doors, talking to people coming in.
Yeah. Are you guys having a table? No, right? Not this time. Okay. Yeah, there's only so many vendors that can go there, so you got to alternate throughout the year. But
is from when to when? Tomorrow.
It always starts at, I think the doors open at like 10:30,
And it's at Durango.
11 o'clock. It's at Durango. Yeah.
Right down the
So it's like 2 hours of mingling, collecting tchotchkes, food, and then I think 1 o'clock the doors open.
Durango has really good food.
And then it's the big ballroom, which we've never seen before because it's at Durango. So,
What it does say here, Tim,
what does it say?
it says the day will commence at 10:30 with an opportunity to engage with a diverse range of vendors. Following an immersive experience at 11:30, members will be treated to a delicious lunch while attending a presentation. So do the doors for the lunch.
My bad. Yes, the doors open for lunch at 11:30, and it goes till 1 o'clock. And then 1 o'clock normally is the CE class from 1 to 4. Okay, so 10:30-ish, show up. If you're not registered, just walk in like you own the place. Just keep, hey, hi, Brady, I'm gonna go in, They might ask for your QR code, you lost it, you can't find it, I don't know, whatever. But in the future, go to these things. And it's free. It's $35, but you get the money back.
You have Mary Perry on your back.
That's it. That's it. And the best part is there's usually a really cool CE class at the end. One that's not a general class. It's law, ethics, one of the big ones that we need. So again, it's free, okay? Lee Dreisen's coming back again next week to do a CE class on how to list the property in probate. I'm going to sit in on this again because this stuff changes all the time. Anyone have a probate deal? Anyone? No? Make an offer on a probate deal? Okay, there's a bunch. Alicia? No? Oh, okay. Okay. But I know some agents not in the room that have probate deals going, and they're tricky. They're tricky. There's one where the relative doesn't want to move out of the house. So I don't know what you do with that. That's why we have Lee. Lee's going to tell us what to do. Lee Drossen, okay? Yes, the QR code is in the handout that everybody has, of course, right? Grab a handout, do the QR code and register, okay? Because what Lee does, he promotes it to his other brokerages that he's done classes with. So sometimes we have a handful of Coldwell Banker people in here, you know, Berkshire Hathaway, whatever, okay? But he wants more of our agents than theirs because it's here. So that's a week from today, right? Okay. If you want to give blood, we have the Bloodmobile. Has anyone been here when the Bloodmobile has come in the past? It's kind of cool. It either parks in the back or the front, and 3 or 4 at a time can go in and give blood. Okay, so it's kind of a good thing, okay? Vitalant needs the blood. So that's also a registered thing too, right? You got to register for that, okay? ROC title, Barbara's going to splurge. We're going to take money out of her pocket, and she's going to do a taco party for us. On what date is it? April 19th. It's a Friday. So, and we'll probably do a barbecue in May or June, like we normally do to kick off the summer. But ROC title, Barbara and Justin offered to buy us a bunch of tacos. So the taco truck comes. Is that what we're going to do? The taco lady? Yeah, so taco lady comes. Street tacos. Really, really good. Yes. So really good stuff. So make sure you come to that. May 1st is our one day. We'll talk more about that as the days come closer to it. What is that date? Who knows what that date is? That's the date the company opened. You know, May 1st. What year?
2005.
Who said 2005? Absolutely correct. Good job. Okay. So the company's 19 years old, May 1st. So it's kind of cool. Okay. Rev Up, that's the latest Rev Up. I don't know who's in here for the new folks, but you know, maybe everyone should take a Rev Up class, a little refresher here. John is doing one next Wednesday on how to fill out the listing agreement. Now, I know most of you know how to fill it out, but a lot of you don't, okay? Especially if you've come here maybe from another state or brokerage in New Jersey. I filled it out, you know, in New Jersey, it's the same. It's not the same. It's not the same, okay? And you're going to call up me and Wendy, and you're going to want us to spend an hour on the phone with you to fill it out. And we're not going to. We're just not, okay? You're a 100% agent. You should know how to do this, or watch the videos, okay? Or come to John's class for 2 hours. He does a really good job, okay? And what are you doing? You're doing one. When? Tomorrow, right? So Wendy's doing an open house class in the Southwest on how to do an open house. I can look at 8 people in here that should be at that class. 10 of you should be at that class, now that I think about it, okay? Don't forget, Tech Thursdays with Maria. Her back's been hurting her lately. Maria's back's been hurting her lately. So, but I think if anyone wants to hang out after the class, have some questions about transaction desk matrix, she'll be here to help you out with that, okay? We put these in here every week. We put them in the newsletter. We beat you over the head with them. You got to take these classes, okay? I don't care if you've been in the business 18 years from Coldwell Banker. You need to take these classes because one is the CRM and one is everything about Realty One Group, okay? So these are really, really cool classes. Justin does them live, correct? He does them live, and they're also recorded. So if you can't make it Monday at noon, Nevada time?
No, we're the same now. We're the same now.
Okay, it says 1 p.m. Arizona.
But the time change brought us together.
Oh, so now now everybody's. So,
Until we fall back.
here we go. Great, fantastic. Yeah. I thought we weren't either. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Already, I'm still tired. So is it 12?
Scan the QR code. It'll tell you. There you go. Okay. I think it's noon our time. I'm pretty sure. Okay. And this one is 9 o'clock our time.
No.
No.
We are the same time as right now.
Right now.
1 p.m.
Right now. Okay. We just got to get rid of the AZ on there then. For now. Yeah. Until.
Or AZ/N.
There you go. I like that. Whatever works here. Okay. Because
It's confusing.
You think? Yeah, I think a little bit, okay. Real quick, before we talk to our esteemed guest, this just came hot off the press yesterday. You should put this in every listing appointment you go on. You should make a video on this, talking about Realty One Group, okay? This is from last year. So if you read it, I know no one likes to read, but we have to read, okay? GLVAR, January 1, 23, 12/31/23. These are the top 10 firms in town. We have been at the top of the list for 17 of the 19 years, 15 of the 19 years we've been open, okay? No one did more than, we did over $2 billion in business. No one else was even close to that, okay? We did 4,800 deals. So let's do the math. 4,800, right? That's 400 a month, right? 400 times 12 is 4,800. Somebody help me out here. Right? Right? Okay. So 400 a month. Let's say it's per week. That's 100 deals a week, counting 5 days. That's 20 deals a day. Holy shit! I didn't realize that. We close 20 deals a day on average. How cool is that, right? And a lot of it has to do with the ROC title, of course, making sure everything is copacetic here, you know. But this is something you should have with you, talk about, do a video on it, do a reel, do a blink, whatever you guys are doing, okay? This is the stuff that people want to see, okay? And it's not from you. It's not from Realty One. It's from Las Vegas Realtors. So it's a third-party testimonial of sorts. It's not coming from us. So really, really good stuff, okay? All right, where is she? There she is. Ladies and gentlemen, Nora Di Gregorio. What a breakfast she brought in for us. There she is.
What are you doing? So, I wanted to talk, I don't remember if I don't know when I've been here, I'm sorry. Last month, I was in Orlando for our big sales meeting with American Home Shield, and we had one of the guys from Carrier, which is the largest manufacturer of HVAC systems in the United States. And there's some things coming down the pipeline, and it's just you really should know what's happening. Some of it's not really good news, but sorry, you need to know. We all know what R22 is. Yeah. Do we know when R22 is discontinued? 2020. In 2020, we stopped manufacturing R22 refrigerant in the United States. And then 410A is what kind of took its place. The thing with 410A is that we could adapt the older systems to take the new Freon, the 410A. Fast forward to today, in January of 2025, 410A will be discontinued manufacturing in the United States.
When is that?
410A, in January of 2025.
How about the R12?
I don't know what R12 is. I know 410A.
For the Sub-Zero.
Oh, yeah, I'm mostly talking about the refrigerant for AC. So our 410A is going to be discontinued in January of 2025. He said they will have parts and refrigerant indefinitely. I had to look up I literally Googled indefinitely. I was like, what does that mean? Like, so what does that mean? Indefinitely is like there's no time limit. So Carrier, along with many of their sub-brands below their umbrella company, has already started manufacturing new systems with 485B. If you go and shop around new construction homes, many of them will have the new 485B. The problem with 485B is it's not compatible with older units, okay? So I'm not trying to freak you out, I'm just trying for you to be prepared to answer these questions for your clients and prepare them for what getting into a home. So 485B on the new systems, the problem with 485B, I shouldn't start to say it that way. It's flammable. It's a minor flammable refrigerant. So it requires all the new systems to have a sensor. That's why it's not compatible with any of our older systems that we have. Why am I telling you this? I'm not telling you to scare you, but if you are working with a buyer and they're looking at a home that has an older system in it, whether it's 410A and R22, typically what happens is your inspector can call out and let you know what refrigerant those systems take. Knowing that information will help you or help the client get better coverage for their system. And so for us, American Home Shield, and if you've called me, say, quote me on a plan, I'm always going to quote you Shield Complete. Because for that $180 difference between the middle plan and the top plan, you get a lot more. You're gonna get things like unlimited refrigerant. You're gonna get one free HVAC tune-up. And that free HVAC tune-up as long as they renew every year into that plan, they get that free HVAC tune-up. If you close the deal in November, December, or January, and today it's snowing, there's no way, if you had an inspection done, they did not turn on the AC. The inspector did not turn on the AC, and guess what? That homeowner has no idea until June, right, if that system works. So having that one free HVAC tune-up can at least get them one maintenance on one of their systems, and then it's just $100 to do the other system if they have 2 or 3 or 4. So, Shield Complete, unlimited refrigerant, free HVAC tune-up. The other thing is gonna give you roof leak coverage, modification coverage up to $1,000. That modification and permit coverage, I had somebody text me this morning. Do you have to pull a permit in Vegas to upgrade a water heater?
What's the answer?
Yes.
Yes, you do.
Really?
Yes.
Do you?
Strategy.
Okay.
In the state of Nevada, you have to pull a permit every time you don't, every time you upgrade a water heater. So let me ask you, let's say I talked to a loan officer actually over the week in DC. She's like, really? She's like, I live in Vegas, I just got a brand new water heater, but they didn't pull a permit. So what's the big deal if they don't pull a permit?
Well, you have to get one when you sell the house.
You have to get one when you sell the house. What happens if you have, let's say, a water burst and there's damage and you go to place a homeowner's claim?
Claims that could be accepted
Why?
because it wasn't permitted.
Thank you.
He's
Such a smarty pants. Yes,
So just replacing it?
you have to pull a
Permit.
A licensed plumber is gonna
Right.
replace
Wow.
it, correct?
So even in your,
You
But
can
she
go
said
to Home
upgrade
Depot.
it, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, replacing it, upgrading
Got
it.
it.
Typically, you have to upgrade it, you have to bring it up to code.
I
And there's
see.
modifications, gas lines, water lines have to be,
Wow.
done. So it can be costly. You guys, my 2 biggest calls when people call me upset are for 2 reasons. One, why am I paying out of pocket for a water heater? Isn't that the only reason why I got a home warranty? Oh, you have Shield Essential. We don't cover the modifications. We will cover the water heater and taking out the old water heater, but unless you have Shield Complete, you don't have that $1,000 for modifications and permits. Does that make sense? So again, to me, it's better coverage for your client, especially if you're dealing with a client that's a first-time home buyer. They've been renting for 15 years. They have no idea, you guys, what it takes to maintain the cost of a home. And when we surveyed all these people that bought homes in 2021. Over 62% of them were unhappy with their purchase. And you know what their number 1 complaint was?
They didn't know the
You have enough.
prices.
They weren't prepared for the cost to maintain their home.
Builders don't know.
So however you feel about home warranty, I get it. But having some coverage is better than no coverage.
Can I ask you a question
Yes.
concerning HVAC? If you have an older unit, for instance, mine is 12 years old,
Mhm.
what if they can't get any parts or freon or whatever they need, will they replace it with a
Yes.
new unit?
If we cannot find parts, or I had my first summer with American Home Shield, we had an HVAC claim in Pahrump. And it was an older unit, and it was gonna cost almost $2,500 that summer for R22. And we just didn't see that by the time we paid for the repair and the labor and all that, we ended up replacing it.
During COVID, they replaced my refrigerator because we couldn't find the part, $4,600 a year.
Yeah, I mean, parts were really hard during that time, with supply chain, so, yes, but obviously, we're always gonna try to fix it first. But as the Freon, and you guys know why, do you guys know why the Freon keeps changing?
Ozone layer.
Yes, the GWP, who knows what that stands for? The global warming potential. It's not even for sure.
Won't the fire make it warmer?
I know. We were all sitting there like, what do you mean it's flammable? And I'm on the SoCal team, which is a very litigious state. So it'll be interesting, even for us as a home warranty company, we're like trying to figure out, okay, like, how do we work? So I would love to do a class sometime in May.
Mhm.
I'm gonna get my training on everything AC, everything refrigerant. So if I can get on the schedule for that, I would love that. Would you guys come to that?
Yeah.
Please do.
Just real quick, for the new agents in here, when they're writing an offer on a house and they write in American Home Shield,
Yes,
home warranty, what amount should they write in there to cover
The most expensive plan,
$815.
$815.
$815.
$815, okay.
$815, you're giving them, and even if you, like, you obviously have, well, the seller's only paying $500. 9 times out of 10, if I talk to the buyer and I explain the difference in coverage, they'll come in with that $315 difference, and all escrow does is they take the $500 that the seller's paying towards that invoice, and the balance they just put in the buyer's column. So it's super easy, right? Super easy to do on an escrow
I
side.
never had a rejection for the higher amount, ever. So, I'm
Yeah,
sure
it's,
there is.
yeah, I mean, people are, know, and we're gonna be doing a lot of marketing. We have a lot of really great things coming up, but I don't wanna take up too much time, but I'll get on your calendar for this big HVAC thing.
The 815, and then how much is pool, spa, extra?
Chlorine pool is $255 a year. Saltwater is an additional $350.
What about new home build?
It's $5 too.
New home build, I've got a great plan.
10 o'clock. You know where your kids are?
Incredible. It's like less than $350 a year for 4 years, and it's transferable. You guys missed me. You had lots of
Nora, everybody, look at that. Hey, the two things I got out of this, even at your house, if your hot water heater goes out and your brother will fix it for you, don't let him fix it. Or let him fix it and get a permit. Because we all do that. We have a relative, a buddy that'll, go to Home Depot, be back in an hour, and we got a brand new hot water heater for $900 instead of spending $1,900. And then it's going to come back and bite you in the ass down the road when you go to sell or if you want to get a home warranty. So avoid, Harry the handyman if you can, because it could come back and bite you, okay?
This is just really good information for you to pass on to homeowners.
Mhm.
Because a lot of people don't know, and they really do rely on you as the professional and resource when it comes to homes.
They really do. They really do. And on your RPA, just like we always put Rock Title and Kathleen or Laura, okay, you put AHS and 815.
Yeah, and honestly, you guys
Really,
if you're
automatic.
not
Sell, and you
comfortable
check off the
with
box that says seller.
that- Yeah, and if you're not comfortable with putting or whatever, I am always happy to talk to your client, right?
Yes.
I'm always happy to talk to your client. Just be like, here's a couple numbers. I know the rep, I work with the rep with American Home Shield. She'll be happy to go over coverage. And then it takes it off of you. They've made the decision. They ask the questions.
And I think you had said this. I remember when I was an agent at Remax, the one good thing I got off the team was the coach said always put the 815, right? But maybe the seller comes back and counters it. No, we're only going to pay 500. I would pay the 315 out of my fee, out of my commission. That was my closing gift to the client. Okay, and then the cool part is, 6 months later, you'll get a text or an email from AHS, 1111 Banana Street, just use their warranty for whatever. Okay, and then I'm calling up Sveta. Hey, Sveta, it's Tim. I haven't talked to you in a couple of months, right? I heard something about your hot water heater. And I make sure she says, thank you, Tim, for paying that $300.
Yeah.
Or I remind her that I paid that $300, or else it might not have been covered.
Yeah, really quick. So I'm always happy to put in your orders, you know that. But it's a really great thing for you to go into our system and register on the portal. Coming soon, you'll be able to get notified when any of your clients are up for renewal. So it's a great opportunity. Again, we're always looking for a good reason, a value add call on, to call them. Hey, I see your home warranty's up. How's it going? Did you have any problems? Did you have any, success? And if they have problems, you know that you can connect them with me, right? Let me figure out, even if it's like a past claim. You guys, I've had situations where a claim has been, I'm not gonna say it's gonna happen every time, but a claim, let's say on a water heater got denied, the homeowner was so, just wanted to get a water heater, they replaced it themselves, they sent us the invoice, and we actually reimbursed them.
Wow.
So again, I'm here to make you look like a hero.
That's it. And if you're like me and lazy, you ever get the phone call from Kathleen 2 days before closing? Oh, I need the invoice for the home warranty. That's me. That's me my whole career. I don't know why. I'm sorry, ladies. I'm just not good at getting it. Exactly. Okay. And I'll email Nora. Hey, Nora, sorry about this. 1111 Banana Street, escrow number, complete plan 810. Could you send the invoice to Kathleen? Yeah. And she does it all. I didn't do anything.
But I gave everybody what they need. You guys, we have a private line for realtors. It's a private line for realtors only. It's a gift, it's a number that you can call, it's an added layer of support, and they're there to help you with everything, billing, coverage questions. Sometimes I'm in a meeting like this, I can't answer the phone, right? And so, again, it's an added layer of support. They know when you call in that you're a realtor, so they can have an elevated level of conversation with you. So, yeah, we're trying to make it easy for you. We don't want you to call our main line where our 2.5 million members are calling. We know your time is valuable.
There you go. All right, any more questions for Nora? We're good? Right? Little home warranty education. All right, gang, like I said, Jen is out, but we like to have the escrow officers come, I don't know, twice a year maybe, to come by, and so we can pick on them, ask them all the crazy questions. Me and Wendy have a list of 47 questions that we're going to ask them. Just kidding. But it's a good way to, so you know who Laura is, you know who Kathleen is, because you're going to put their name on the RPA. You might as well know who it is, okay? So right now they'd rather be closing deals and signing clients, but they were nice enough to come down here for a couple hours. So ladies and gentlemen, Laura Moran and Kathleen Lamarche, come on down. Have a seat, ladies. Have a seat.
And their business cards
Do I have
are
one?
right outside.
I have one. Yeah, you got one, right? Okay, I'll let you ask the first one, okay? You go first. All right, gang, make yourself at home. All right, gang. So how about we do this? In your handout is a bio on each of them, except Laura. She forgot to send it to us. Bad girl. Okay, but needless to say, Kathleen's been doing this for a couple of minutes. About 30 years, okay? So maybe both of you, 30 seconds, how long you've been doing it, all that kind of good stuff.
Kathleen Lamarche moved here 33 years ago. 30 years of that 33 has been in escrow.
Wow.
So I've kind of learned all the ups and downs of our market, how it goes. I'm here. I'd love to have your deals. If you have any questions pre-listing, give me a call. I'll help you figure out what you're going to need if it's a tricky situation with the death of the family or one of the owners or anything of that nature.
And you're physically, where are you?
I am up at the Northwest.
Okay.
For the time being. We are going to be shortly moving in with Laura down at the Southwest on Russell. We don't have a set date yet, though.
Yeah, the realty one, Rock Tile did not want to leave the Northwest, but they had a little issue with the landlord, renegotiating the lease, and he wanted to raise the rent through the roof.
We're going down there either.
Huh?
Beautiful office.
Yeah, it is. So it's when I worked in the Northwest with Jeff, it was great having them right next door. Just walk right in. If you have a question, it was fantastic. So, but they're going to be at Russell where Laura is, right? Got it. All right, Laura, tell us who you are.
So my name's Laura. I started in banking originally and then went into escrow about 10 years ago. I worked in California, Utah, now I'm in Nevada. So I started with ROC Title 5 years ago in the Green Valley office and then moved to Southwest about a year ago.
Excellent. All right, Wen, how about you start them off with a tricky question there?
All right.
Anyone you want. Pick a question.
Do you prefer realtors show up to your signings?
Yes.
I do. I mean, I know you guys are busy, so either way, we're gonna take care of your clients. We're gonna make it a good experience for them. But I just feel like your client feels so much more supported if their agent is there. They already have the relationship with you. A lot of times that's the first time that they're meeting us. So it's a little bit awkward unless the agent is there to kind of smooth them over, talk about the walkthroughs, get the conversation. But I like it. I enjoy when realtors come.
And there's sometimes questions we can't answer
Right.
for them. So it is nice to have the agents there.
There's what's the difference if I represent the seller and I come to the signing, or if I represent the buyer to come to the signing? Is it the same thing, kind of, or is there a little difference? Like,
It's about the same.
It's the same.
I feel like it's really important, especially for first-time home buyers, because they don't know the process, they don't know what to expect. A lot of times they're nervous, they get a big stack of papers, and it's nice to have that personal touch. I think it makes you more memorable in their mind.
Well, sellers too, if it's their first time selling.
Right.
They don't know the process of selling. They know what they did when they purchased, but, it's just, I think, a comfort feeling.
and what'll happen, and everyone knows this, they'll send you a estimated closing statement. We can't say HUD anymore, right? We can't call it HUD.
We all know what.
We all know what it means? Okay. So you're signing on Thursday. Tuesday or Wednesday, they're going to send you the HUD. And you're going to look through it. And what's the first thing you make sure is correct?
Money.
What money? Whose money? Your money, yes. Let's be honest, right? If there's going to be a mistake, we don't want it there. Yeah, but the point is, when you get that, you're going to call your client. You know, hey Mary, this is Tim. We're signing, Thursday at 2. Kathleen sent you over the closing statement. Do you have any questions?
Can I throw something in?
Please.
Also, ROC Title has great props to take pictures for
Mhm.
social media with your client, because the whole step of the road of the selling or the buying is all about them. And when you're there and the excitement, you guys have great
Well,
props.
it's
and
good for your
I
We try to
love
make it
videos
fun.
to do
and
that with
it's a
your
lot of fun.
clients. We've had agents from other companies walk out with our props.
Hey, oh, hey. Yeah, bad idea, right? Yeah, okay. So the moral of the story is, unless there's a really good reason, you should go to the signing. It's the happiest time of the deal, right? They're going to like you the most right at that moment. They're not going to, as soon as you walk out, their love for you dwindles immediately, like buying a new car. It does. Because you're not going to keep in touch with them as much. You're not going to call them as much. 6 months later, they'll probably forget who you are, unless you do the things that we teach you to keep in touch with them, okay? But go to your signings, okay? Because it's easy. You're just sitting there. You're not answering questions. There might be a question or two that the realtor might have to hop in on, right?
Yeah,
But
or the agent will come get us
Yeah.
and say, can you explain this a little bit more to them? Or, if they don't understand impounds or prepaid interest or, we'll- just anything simple.
because
Or we'll come running and asking you to.
exactly. And now, what if the buyers or seller can't come to you, and you have to send someone to them? You guys aren't hopping in the car and signing it. Let's not get crazy, right?
Well,
Okay.
your escrow wouldn't be closed.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, exactly. Okay. So keep that in mind too. If your client's in California, they're not coming here to sign. They're
Make
gonna.
sure you let them know in advance
Mhm.
so that we can set up.
We know that first thing, that's great, because we have companies that we work with, I have preferred companies and preferred notaries, but it's sometimes they're gonna be busy, so we need to schedule them in advance.
Well, now, we need to make sure documents are back in time for closing. When those loan documents come in for the buyer, or even if the buyer's out of state, we need that time frame to get originals back here for recording.
And when you get that estimated closing statement 2 or 3 days before, really go through it. And if you're new, me and Wendy will sit down with you, or Maria will sit down with you, and you might see fees on there like that you don't know what they are. And you might say, goddamn ROC Title, they're gouging my client. There's a mobile notary fee, and the person lives here in town. Why are they charging them a mobile notary fee? They're not going to charge them a mobile notary fee, but they don't know that.
Come in on our office.
Correct. It'll come off.
Need one office.
Right.
We can have a notary come to your office here, and then the seller buyer's notary will be waived. But we will put it on there, because we'd
Mhm.
rather over-disclose than
Correct.
under.
So any local notary, there's no extra charge? If you go to their.
No,
They sign
we
in
use
the
our
office.
approved
Okay.
notary. And so if you schedule your seller here instead of our office, then we'll schedule them to come here and sign, and then we'll waive the notary.
So physically here or ROC Title, no cost.
One of our-
The notary has to go to your MGM office for your buyer. There's a fee.
Yeah,
Okay,
Right.
but at 7 o'clock at night here, there's no charge.
no,
No, correct.
just give us notice so we can make sure docs are where they need to be and.
Right, okay. And one big thing, I got this from a few agents lately, where we're talking about a deal, and we're negotiating it, and our agent has the buyer and says, Tim, the other title company is offering a discount. And so my buyer wants to go with that other company, okay? That's your fault if you don't know that these guys give out more discounts than they should give out, okay? And I think you happen to have it right in front of you
I
there,
do.
okay?
Yeah, I left it up there by
Yeah.
where the flyers are at. They're
Mhm.
always in the hallway, but we offer a lot of discounts. We have investors discounts, so that helps you guys a lot of times if we work with investors over and over. We already have their paperwork. We know to give them the 30% off. We work with veterans, first-time home buyers, teachers, senior citizens, and then we have the ROC program, which is just starting title early. So you guys can get a copy of that.
So,
Also with investors, they only have to have bought or sold 2 homes in the last 12 months to qualify,
Right.
correct? So they don't have to be big investors. And then
I think it's 3.
is
yeah.
it 3 now?
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay.
and the senior citizen age is 55, 65? What is it?
That I would have to check.
I think it's
55, I think, yeah. I think it's 55.
We didn't bump it up yet like every other,
Yeah.
Yeah, that I would have to double check on.
Okay.
Yeah.
pretty sure it's
Just
55.
clarifying.
So again, these discounts, I mean, they're not thousands of dollars,
But
okay?
now when you do
It's a
the,
big difference
It is though. Yeah.
30% discount is hundreds of dollars.
It is.
So.
Yeah.
And two, when you start if you're the listing agent, when you go to list, you know, you could get a prelim only from us prior and order a property profile with, list before you know. And so if you do that and you get the deal to ROC title, both the buyer and seller get the 30% off their escrow, not just yourself.
And those of you that get your first listing with ROC title, okay, you're going to put in the agent remarks about the discount, okay?
And the verbiage is on the front of this flyer,
Mhm.
it's been approved, so you know what to write, and you put your escrow officer's name and telephone number in there also.
Yeah. So the other agent knows
So
already.
it helps with the other agents say, well, your buyer will get a 30% off their escrow fee as well.
And they already have the trust documents. They already know what's needed. They've gotten started on the title work, so.
Yeah. So it's a really, really good program. So sometimes we don't read all the handouts that we give out.
If you don't see it on your statement, just ask us, be sure, did you give the discount?
Mm-hmm.
Mine, I usually type discounted on the settlement
Yeah,
statement
so they see it.
body, so you see that
Yeah.
it's been applied. So.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Wen, what do you got?
So, real quick, let's explain, like, what's the difference with a title company and an escrow company?
An escrow company, we are a neutral, disinterested third party. So we take instructions and facilitate the escrow. Title company, who we are their clients, escrow, because you're opening your escrow with us. They search title and they tell us what needs to be cleared to ensure your buyer and the buyer's lender free and clear property, clean chains of title, so that, you know, when the buyer goes to sell or the lender wants to sell their loan, everything's proper and clear for them. There's no judgments, liens, or bogus seller buyers in the past.
Now, in California, like here, can I do title with you guys and escrow with lawyer's title?
You can, but
How often does that happen?
not very, because it's really not worth our while to do an escrow and not the title too, and actually it's more difficult with your clients.
It's slower. It's a
It's
much slower
a
process
bigger
having
process.
it
Correct.
separated.
And I brought that up because some of you come here experienced from other states, and they separate them. California comes to mind, right?
California, yeah.
Right? Right? I mean, separate, totally separate. Here, we don't want it separate. It makes it easier if whoever the buyer chooses.
Is we, like if you do our escrow and they want it with XYZ title for their title, we have to run all the documents through us, and then, but we're having to go in contact with them, and they usually don't put us in the front line. They're gonna do their own
Not
EOs
priority.
first. So it is better for your client just to keep
And
them.
then they need all the original documents at the end.
Mhm.
So you need an extra couple of days just to make sure they're on top of
And if it
it.
needs to be corrected, then you're delayed another day, and, yeah.
And again, this might sound trivial, guys, but when you're meeting a buyer who's from California, and you don't mention this to them during the consultation or the 3 weeks or 3 months you're showing houses, and then it comes up at, you know, when escrow's open, they say, what do you mean? No, it's separate. You know, if I hear one more time, in California, you know, how many times do we hear that? In California, we do it this way. Shoot me in the head, right, Maria? You know? Yeah. But here it's the same. So, but you need to make your client aware of that, particularly if they're relocating from somewhere else,
A
okay?
lot of times they're shopping prices. We have 2 underwriters now. We're coming up with a third in the next, I think, 6 months or so. We're already working on approvals. So we can check different prices and try to get you guys the best deal. You know, if it's a price conscious decision, let us know and we can always work with you guys.
Okay, I think I know the answer to this question. Maybe I'm wrong, so help me out here. You open up escrow, right? What's the first thing Kathleen or Laura's going to send you, typically? What's the first piece of documentation?
Preliminary title.
Okay, so what was it?
Preliminary.
Right, the prelim. We call it the prelim, okay? Tell them what a prelim is, because I think half of you might not really know what a prelim is.
So that's the original search package that the title company will do. So they'll process everything, make sure that we know about any liens. Like recently I had a purchase contract that was on title. So we weren't sure what to do with that. So we had to track down, it's not the easiest situation. So we had to track down the original seller, we had to track down the business, which was no longer in business. It was this long process. So it's just giving us a heads up who actually owns the property, who has rights to any sort of money coming out of the proceeds.
That too, that's once again, property profile with the list to know.
It's a
or know
lien
before you
report.
list,
Yeah, it's a
is
lien
like, that
report.
would have pulled up, you would have known, okay, there's issues right now, and we can start working on those issues.
Right.
Before you get to the closing and an actual contract in there. Or even if you're a buyer real quick, you know, customer service is pretty quick about getting those out.
And,
before you get up.
if I may say, if you have a potential listing that's coming up and you're just getting ready to list it, and you're a little curious, you always get a gut feeling. But it's always good to just email myself or your escrow officer if you already have a relationship with them, and just say, I would like to open escrow prelim only. Here's the full address and when it's actually listed, when it goes live. And we will immediately then go, thank you, we're gonna open this with Laura Moran or Kathleen LaMarche, whichever you choose. And it takes a couple of days, and you'll get an email, and it'll have the full property profile, which will have all the information you need, but the lien report is what they're talking about. That's called Know Before You List. And you can order that on any property even before the listing goes live. It's gonna tell you what liens are on it. Are there are they in bankruptcy? Are they in probate? Is there liens on there for the yard? You know, they might have taken their grass out, and there's a lien, if the new buyer won't be able to put grass in. It just tells you everything. How many mortgages on it? Is there a HELOC? Did they take out a standalone pool loan? You need to know these things, because believe it or not, your buyers may not tell you. And when you're doing a net
Really? They'd hold out on that stuff? Really? You know?
Forget. Oh, I have a HELOC. Oh, yeah. But this is why
They
it's
don't
so
think-
important.
A lot of times they don't consider that a mortgage because
Mhm.
it's like a credit card to them.
Yeah.
But it's
So-
recorded against the property, and then they're, whoa, surprise. you
Yeah,
know,
as
you
a
gotta pay
realtor,
it.
it's your job to make sure that you know what's going on before it hits you at the end of escrow, and then there's a big mess. So do your research, let us do it for you. And it's as simple as ordering that, and opening your escrow before you have the buyer. We get the prelim done, and then you have that written into the verbiage on the MLS agent to agent remarks, and then both sides get 30% off their escrow fees. So it's a win-win, it protects you, we're here to help you.
When I send that opening email, I always break down my prelims, so I'll let you guys know, this is what I'm following up with your client about. If you guys can come behind, next time you talk to them, make sure they get me these documents. That way we're ahead of the game, we're organized, and you guys are in the loop, you know what's going on with title, and it just makes everybody look a lot more
And
professional.
especially like if a property's in a trust, one of the trustees has passed, this could all be cleared up and ready to go, so you're not doing it at the last
And we
minute.
wanna get these documents before your sellers start putting things in boxes and packing things away, and then they have to try to look for these things.
So the typical escrow officer will scan the prelim to see if anything jumps out,
Yes.
right, and let the agent know,
You know,
right?
email it out.
Email it out.
And say, hey, this is what we found, or it looks great. and everything.
Should we send it to the client?
Yes.
Do all of you do that?
Up to you.
Send it to your clients and have them sign off that they got it? You have to do that, okay? It's how many, 15 pages, 18, how many pages? More than that? You know, it's boring reading, it's legalese, but you gotta send it to them, okay?
You can always, maybe sometime do just at least the hot spots on what
Mhm.
we call title commitment. So you're gonna see that on ours, but it's the same. We're committing to a title, a prelims, title search. So some companies do prelims, we do title commitments, but they're the same.
I have a bizarre question. If the homeowner had a personal second that was small, and they go to sell, but it's so many years ago, it's like 40 years ago, they paid it off, but they never got the reconveyance. So now, what happens if the original private people that lend them, that put the lien on the property, are gone, they're passed away?
Back 40 years ago.
And you wanna sell
Title-
the property?
Title will review it, and sometimes things drop by time.
Got it.
Kind of depends on, every situation would be different.
Right.
It would be, I mean, we would probably exercise every way we could to
Yeah.
find these people,
I did.
their errors.
Or
Then,
through an attorney.
it would definitely, would have to go to title and underwriting, and they would have to determine the risk.
Did you
How
have to
much
get-
was it?
We don't
and-
make those decisions.
Yeah, I mean, could
that are in
not
there.
find
So you
an
have
error.
to get a
in the
payoff
document.
in order for you to pay somebody, right? So if you can't get a payoff,
But again, she's saying that was back in 1974.
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, generally that
You know.
should be
Yeah.
drop off by.
Right. And again, it's case by case. If that small personal loan was, you know, $3,500 compared to $350,000, yeah, you know, there could be an issue here.
Difficult things
Yeah.
too is even with these banks back in the whole big crash thing, a lot of them are out of business, whatever. They have never been reconveyed. Those are become issues.
And now, just so you guys know, every Tuesday, me and Wendy put a trivia question on our Facebook page. Maybe some of you have seen it. And the question yesterday was, when you open up escrow, you open it up April 1st. By what date do they have to get you the prelim? 2 days, 5 days, 10 days, 30 days? Within how many days do they have to get you the prelim? How many? 2, 10, 40? 5. I got 5. I got 2. It's 10. It's 10. 10. Then when you get it on day 10, you send it to your buyer. And can your buyer cancel when they get the prelim?
Within 5.
That a girl. So your buyer can cancel because of the prelim. That's something we don't really talk about a lot. They can cancel because of due diligence and HOA. So your buyer has 5 days to review the prelim.
Lots of ways
Yeah,
around contracts.
exactly,
I
exactly.
couldn't even believe it. I'm like, what?
It's crazy. Yeah, so kind of keep that little, that's why the contract is so important. And when you guys fill it out and leave stuff blank, Wendy loses her mind. Okay? Oh shit, Tim, they left 4 things blank again. Oh my God, you know? Because anyone can put a check mark there and the deal goes the other way. Okay? So nothing gets left blank. It's really, really important that you do that, okay? What's this title inspection fee that's on the RPA these days?
That's our lunch money.
I thought so. That a girl, yeah. See, honesty, gang. Honesty, you know?
A title inspection fee. Most title companies do charge it. We actually have an inspector drive by the home. We're looking for a broken priority because mechanics liens can be placed after the close of escrow. And so we need to avoid those because now our new buyer and lender will be affected if there is one placed. So if somebody's putting on a new roof, big major, not like $500 things, we're talking big repairs, remodeling. We have to make sure that this isn't going on for title insurance purposes.
And again, that's on the RPA, and I would venture to guess, don't raise your hand, a lot of you didn't know what that was for. I didn't know what it was for when it first came up. But it's a drive-by fee. That's what I tell my clients. You know?
Is the structure really there?
Yeah. Is it really there? Does it exist?
There were years ago
Yeah.
that an out-of-state buyer purchased unseen, came to town after the closing, and the home was there, but it was burned to the ground, and he was not aware.
Yeah.
This was before inspections.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's reasons, we look for abnormal stuff, even squatter type stuff in the big, you know.
And a real quick story recently about the prelim. We represented the buyer. We got the prelim, you know, a day or two into it, and there was solar on the roof. Yeah. Right? And we're looking at the prelim, and there's no solar on there. Usually there's a UCC number or something, I forgot. So our agent calls the listing agent, hey Gab, by the way, you didn't send me, I know we're only 2 days into this, so I need the solar docs. There's no solar on the prelim. What's up with that? Oh, I forgot to tell you, my seller got solar, but after they installed it, he had a fight with them, and he never made a payment. But the solar's on the roof. And it doesn't work. It was never hooked up. You never made a payment, but the solar's on the roof. Holy shit, what do we do now? You know, I mean, 1-800-CALL Cuba. I don't know, how do we fix that here? You know, I mean, but that's why the prelim is so important. You find stuff like that in the beginning.
That on the solar though, sometimes the solar companies don't record. We're unaware that there is a solar, and technically we're not concerned with the solar through the escrow portion of it. Like, we need a release when it is recorded. So we're gonna be involved and want everything in place in the release in our file. But sometimes they don't, so it's really between the buyer and the seller to make sure that gets transferred when it's not on our prelim.
Will water district, not encroachment, but, you know, where you, traded out grass for a rock and they have a lien, or whatever it's called.
Conservation.
Will that show up on the prelim?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yep.
You can actually ask the seller to pay that back through escrow so that your buyer can put in grass. It's negotiable.
Or a pool
Or a pool,
Mhm.
or whatever they wanna do.
Yeah.
So, because the Sutherland has that HOA, the preliminary would be a lot more expensive in Summerlin than in other places?
Because of the HOA?
Well, every house pays the fee.
Well,
so everything's-
yeah, we show all the HOAs. That will show on your prelim.
I'm just thinking there's a lot more requirements for just,
Resale packages
Yeah.
and demands, yeah, they have their own requirements, so we'll order a copy of those up front. That's part of your initial disclosures.
I think maybe what Ann's getting at in Summerlin, Mountain's Edge, some master plan communities, you might have 2 HOAs. You might have 3. I think there's some that have 3 HOAs. It's insanity. So that's 3 resale packages, 3 demands, 3 of everything. Okay, so that's some of the craziness that shows up on the prelim. Okay.
And a lot of the sellers do not understand that.
No.
They're all less thinking it's our fee. They don't understand there's a resale package and a demand. So there's 2 different things that they're paying for on HOAs.
But a Realty One Group agent, when they take the listing, they thoroughly explain that to their seller. Right? Right? We explain that to our sellers. Okay.
They paid this 'cause they think they did, and they haven't. So.
Yeah. When?
2, I mean, we're not supposed to order resale packages because we don't know what to order. However, sometimes we do, or
Because there's different options on there.
Depends.
Sometimes there's inspections or things we don't know if your client wants us to order.
Mm-hmm. I think in most cases, if you're a listing agent,
we do when we're working with our agents on a constant, we know what they want.
yeah, at a minimum, you might say, Kathleen, do me a favor, could you find the HOA link and send it to my seller? Seller clicks on it, seller pays for it, and then you're done. Okay? Otherwise, you have to get the link for your seller. You have to find the HOA information, which is, your seller has it because they're making payments every month for all these years. Okay? But they'll help you out with that. But that's not really part of what they do. That's part of what you do as the listing agent. Go ahead, Wayne.
We will ask you if you know if we're having difficulty finding for the demands. Usually, we got pretty good list of,
Yeah.
what's going, who manages what HOA now.
Anybody want to take a guess? What's the HOA demand? The CIC demand? It's on the. It's on,
Chaos of what's
you know this answer, okay? So I'm the seller.
It's another way that HOA.
You're taking the listing, and on there it says CIC demand, and I say to you, what is that? Other than Judy,
Statement of the account that the seller has with the HOA stating any credits for the balances that are.
what a smart guy. What I tell my sellers, that's to prove that you've made your HOA payments, and for that your HOA charges you $185, and then we laugh about it, because that's usually how much it is. $185, $150, whatever.
Contribution that have to be charged through the escrow. So.
Correct. Good one.
So, next question is, what is title insurance and who does it protect?
So this is another flyer that I left up by the front if you guys actually want to provide this to your clients. If they don't know what title insurance is and why they need it, it shows you everything that's protected. So anything that could possibly come up, judgments, fraud is a big issue. I mean, we've had some issues with fraud in the last, especially year. It's definitely amped up in Las Vegas. Your buyer's gonna be covered when they go to sell the house.
So that means what? So 3 months later, someone knocks on the door, and I'm the new owner, and they ask me for money
Yep,
from 3 years ago.
right.
So what is?
The insurance policy will work to get all those things taken
And then
care
you
of.
would contact us or
Mhm.
the title company, and of course we would review, and then they would place a claim with the title insurance.
Do they need that additional insurance they're talking about where the people are losing their homes, getting stolen?
The fraudulent sellers?
Oh,
Yes.
is that like with the
Yeah, so-
county where they get an alert every time there's something happens on
Or
title?
somebody, what is it?
No, there's a lot
It's a
of
big deal.
fraudulent
It's a big
going
deal.
on
It's
right
a-
now, especially
Right.
vacant land, they're selling,
Right.
and like refinances with, they're refinancing properties with no mortgages. These are huge fraudulent things going on right now, huge. So we're all aware, we may be asking more questions because of the fraudulent to make sure they're the actual sellers, they're the actual owners for that refinance. There is a lot, there's people signing off on deeds that fraudulently, and you don't know because you don't have a mortgage, so you
Well,
don't know.
also deeds are getting stolen from owners.
Mhm.
That was, I saw a show last night in Georgia. they have foreclosure sales that aren't through the courts. It's very scary.
Well, see, that's what they did, like, if you have a property free and clear, somebody fraudulently puts it in their name, they take out a loan.
Right.
They walk away with that loan
That's-
money, refinancing, and the bank all post on your door, hey, you haven't made payments, and you're totally unaware. So
That's
it's
exactly what
smart
they're
to
saying.
keep checking with Clark County. There is a form you could file with Clark County that anything that gets recorded with your name, address, parcel, you get notification.
What I was asking is, do you protect against that?
Not after
No.
close,
Not
anything
after
after
close, you don't wanna write
closing.
anything after close.
And
Unless it has to do with a fault of improper titling, we didn't search the property correctly, something of that nature.
And 9 out of 10 times, the person stealing the title is stealing it from someone that has no mortgage. It's much easier. If there was a loan on it, then it's almost impossible to steal the title or to put in my name from yours.
It's not uncommon here.
Yeah, no,
It's not
free
uncommon.
and clear property.
Yeah, I don't know how many properties we have, free and clear out here. Probably thousands, hundreds of thousands maybe. So yeah, those are the people that have to be careful.
So
Yeah.
if we ask your sellers, or, well, for lenders, the borrowers, but your sellers like on vacant land or homes without, we may be requesting more information to verify that it is them.
So I think it would be a great service to add to your service, that protection.
But what we do is we issue insurance up until the day of closing. So everything that happened
Backwards.
before
Right.
closing, that's what we're ensuring, that everything's taken care of. We have no way of knowing what's gonna happen in the future. So our title insurance policy is just saying that the buyer's getting this home free and clear of any old encumbrances. So we can only insure what we know about, and that's up until the day of closing. So it would be a great, it would be a great.
Business.
It
for
would
the
be
applicant.
very good.
I think
Well,
that's
that
through the
title-
county that they do that.
Well, it's called
alert
title
system.
lock loans, and they advertise it.
Yeah, yeah.
But that would be great, but.
I remember when I took my first escrow class or title class years ago, the guy said, title insurance is the only insurance, like think of car insurance. It helps you if you get into an accident in the future. Medical insurance, if you get sick. This is insurance goes backwards. What happened in the past. So that's the weird thing about title insurance. It covers you going backwards. So no one can come and put a claim on the house that you now own, because when I bought it from Barbara, ROC Title insured that title free and clear to me. So if I do get a claim, I give a phone call to Laura. I say, Laura, chop, fix this, okay? This guy's suing me here, whatever you got to do here, So, and that's why when you also open up escrow, you're going to get a statement of information, probably, I think you guys call it, to the buyer and the seller. And some clients don't want to fill that out, or they give you a hard time. Or it's a cash buyer and his name is Jose Garcia, which is a very common name, if you get my drift here, okay? And yeah, they might ask for an ID or a passport or a driver's license. And if your buyer or client starts backpedaling, you might not want to do the deal, okay? So that's a lot of the stuff that they'll protect us from.
Red flags.
Yeah, a lot of red flags, So, but that's called the statement of information, okay? So what's the difference between owners? So if I'm the seller, I have to buy an owner's policy, right? But if I'm the buyer, I got to buy a lender's policy. What's the difference?
So the lender's policy covers the loan, so any damages to the lender, and the owner's policy covers your buyer.
So I'm the buyer, and I'm paying to insure Wells Fargo's loan.
Yes.
How crazy is that, right? I'm just pet peeve of mine for 15 years. It bothers the hell out of me. Really does.
Lenders are the most paranoid
Yep.
people in the world. They're paranoid. Lenders are paranoid.
They are, yeah. They're a little crazy.
To get them.
Yep, I'm with you. Okay. We got a couple more minutes, gang. Anybody questions out there you want to get, Lorraine?
If I'm the buyer agent and I request to use ROC Title on RPA, do both sides get a discount? If I'm the buyer agent, I'm not the listing agent. But they want to use their title company, like in their ML and the agent remarks, but I still always put your name.
Yeah, with it has to be disclosed is the problem.
We only disclose it.
Because
Because of the permanent
you
insurance.
don't want to get in trouble and fined, and we don't, because all of our fees, everything's filed with the state. You have guidelines that you have to follow.
So typically it works for us if we're the listing agent,
Right.
correct? Because we're publishing that in
I
MLS.
usually ask if they qualify. I mean, there's so many categories here. Do they qualify
Yeah,
for any of these
Well, she's going
You
for
know,
both sides though.
Yeah, like, cause I always put like they'll request who they wanna use, and I still put rough title in mine, I guess I'm just confirming, I guess I never really.
I'm saying
looked.
The
Does the
only
seller
alternate
qualify for
easy
any of
way
these?
would be, and we don't have that luxury of time frame right now,
Yeah,
for your buyers to get that property would be open a prelim only, but can't be doing that just on a whim all the time either, so.
So I have
Kinda
an addition
hard.
to that, so if they're asking for XYZ title company, and she, writes in her buyer, her RPA, use Rock Title, and in the email she says, if you do use Rock Title, both of us get their 30% off, like, we can't say that, because they didn't list that. Is that what you're asking?
yeah, it's like,
Oh.
yeah, like, is there a
Yes.
discount, or
You
will the
counter-
buyer even, get a percent off, or 30% off?
At that
If I
point now,
request
it's
rock title.
basically
It's
what,
only really listing.
if they qualify for one.
Okay, so
Unfortunately.
it's good to know that.
And you can't match, like, if
That
we're
was a
saying,
really
if you
good
go
question.
through Republic
Good to know.
Title, you can't match theirs with their discount.
I mean, we have flexibility, like I said, on the title insurance, because we have different people that offer title insurance. So we can search it and see who offers the best deal. We can see if there's any short-term rates or things like that. But as far as escrow discounts, we're filed with the Department of Insurance, so we have to do what they tell us to do.
And just so you know
This is
that
just saying the discount is for the listing.
the 30% discount is on the escrow fee,
Right.
not the title insurance.
Correct.
And what's a typical escrow fee? I know it varies, but $500,000 house, what's a typical escrow fee?
$500.
$500, right? Okay. So that's something you need to know when you're writing the RPA.
Definitely.
Oh, I have them.
Yeah, $500,000. Yeah, that's- so let's say it's $500 on each side.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So that would be a $150 discount to your seller or potential buyer. So again, it's a couple $100, but it's not thousands. It's not off the title insurance, which would be really great if it was off that. But they're not allowed to mess with
I
that.
think Rock Title also offers more discounts for buyers than other title companies. Teacher, you
Mhm.
know, first time.
First
home,
responders.
First responders.
First responders.
So if
Thank
we,
you.
so now if we counter it out, and they agree to use Rock Title, can we just say, okay, can you give my buyer the, senior discount or whatever?
Yes.
We can still do that, but to get it for both sides, so just so everybody's
And
clear.
even if the seller qualifies, they, you know, if they're on one
One
of
of
these
those.
categories as well.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
So if you had to guess, Laura, how many categories get discounts? 3, 4, 12?
So there's 6 on
6 right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
What a senior military.
We get a lot of senior first-time homebuyers. I've been seeing them popping back up again.
White Irish guys from New Jersey, do we get one? No? That's not on there?
But no, you
No.
have to ask for it
Don't you count for a
because
senior yet?
Yeah, that's important.
It's coming, it's coming.
That's important, Kathleen.
Gotcha.
Because it's not automatic.
Yeah, it's not
yeah,
automatic, right?
you need to ask for it, and not just us. Any title company, you need to ask them for the discount. We just don't arbitrarily go, oh, okay, I'm gonna give you a discount.
Right.
It's like, you know, your rewards card anywhere, you have to use it to get it, so
Right.
you need to ask for it.
Because they don't know what your client qualifies for. Veteran, military, cop, fireman, whatever it might be. So don't be shy, you know. All right, gang, any more questions? 2 or 3 more? Nobody? Anybody?
Sorry.
Oh, Wendy does, sure.
So, well, just because it came up for me over the years, but, what documents do you need when you're doing a trust or an LLC that you have to provide for your clients? Because a lot of people just think that it doesn't matter, we're just writing that, but we need to provide documents as agents to the title company.
We need on trust,
Full trust?
the full trust agreement, especially if a trustee's passed away, and any amendments that go with it. A lot of times I know clients get grief for that, well, it's 100 pages thick and I don't want them knowing all my business, you know, I get that. So we do try to get the full trust agreement, definitely a trust certification, and that goes for buyer and seller. If you get grief about the whole agreement, we can try with the certification. This is what title's wanting. LLCs, definitely a full operating agreement and articles of the corporation, and they have to be good standing with the state.
Right.
So basically, for a trust, there's 2 documents, and for an LLC, there's 2. Hopefully, guys, you caught that. We'll put it on Facebook to remind you. But
Roughly with the, yeah, and then it gets tricky, you know, with the trust if there's deaths. So
For your signings for the notaries, are they in-house or are they, third party?
So I try to do all my own signings if I can. If I have a really busy morning, I have a couple of notaries I really like that I know I can trust, and they explain all the documents, and I'll try to be in and out of the signing as much as possible. I go over the settlement statement with them, I talk to them, make sure they feel comfortable, and then I'll have the notary do the rest of the documents.
Yep.
I will not sign my clients, I am a notary, so when I can, it all depends on what's going on. I'd definitely love to pop in and say, hey, let me know if you have.
Cause I've been in so many signings where the notaries are just explaining everything wrong and just saying stuff.
We try
not
to
totally
get,
sure,
but you know what, if that happens, I expect please report it, because we don't wanna keep using those notaries. Or if we do, we wanna sit down and tell them what they're explaining.
Before I use a notary, I will sit with that notary on multiple signings, just so I know how they explain the documents, and I know I can trust them, but
Yeah.
that's.
And typically, if you represent the buyer, think of you guys, if you go to a signing, if the buyer has an issue with the documents, 9 out of 10 times, what do you think the issue is, pertaining to what?
The rate. Fees.
Lender. It's the lender. They have a question about the lender. You don't have to pick on loan officers, okay? So that's why if you have a buyer and you get that HUD, you're going to send it to John Morgan here at Epic or Willie at Wells Fargo and make sure they talk to your buyer and go through that whole thing. So when they go to sign, it should be in and out in 20 minutes. It's not like the old days when there was no explanation of the HUD and you'd go there and they'd be on the phone with the lender for 30 minutes. Oh, you told me this, you told me that. There's no more of that because of the CD. The closing disclosure goes out.
They have the 3
Right,
days.
exactly.
And ours should be pretty darn close, if not matched,
Mhm.
that CD in the end. So, and me personally, I prefer to get out to you agents, the settlement statement, so I can have your eyes look at them, make sure I didn't miss anything, or, hey, we missed this, or no notary fee, they're coming in your office, whatever, that type of thing, so,
Those of us that have been doing this for a while, we all remember 10, 12, 15 years ago, the buyer would sign and they thought they'd have to bring in 14 grand and it says, 23,500 and the buyer explodes. On who? On you. You're the realtor. You can blame for everything, because the lender's not even there. The lenders didn't even show up half the time, okay? But all that's been fixed, thank God, with the closing disclosure, RESPA, and all that kind of stuff.
with that.
It really does. It really does.
Sometimes, not always, but the more home warranties, please, yes, get them as soon as you can, because if your buyer's gonna pay that 300 extra, we need to disclose it to the lender so it's on their CD.
Can I say one thing about that? And I don't know if I brought this up here, again, I'm in my mind. I recently got a call from an escrow officer and it was like, hey, the agent said to cancel the home warranty, and I was like, okay, well, why are we canceling it? The borrower is short funds to close. Hold on. We have a borrower short funds to close and you wanna cancel the home warranty, the one thing that will probably save them down the road. So if you get into that situation, please, don't cancel it. Let's take it outside of escrow, we can set them up on monthly payments and give them some budget protection.
Yeah.
My answer is to that for me, because I'm neutral, yes, I'll waive it with their instruction, but please contact the home warranty and let them know.
Yeah.
So then that would leave you opportunity to,
Yeah, I mean,
Explain,
really,
because
again,
they
it's
do
not about
that
me,
when it's short.
really, like, that one deal's not gonna make or break me, honestly, but I
No,
totally
but
have
so you
seen,
do explain
Mhm.
to them.
you guys, I see every day, almost every day, I see how, I talk to an agent and they're like, oh my God, I should have gotten that home warranty, I just had to replace my HVAC. I can't tell you how many times a week I hear that. Or we didn't get the home warranty and my buyer's home, water heater went out literally that same weekend. Like,
and this is
happens,
true.
it's constant.
Because
So-
we'll get calls from the buyers going, do you have a copy of my home warranty? And we'll go look, and we'll go, oh, but you waived that.
Yikes.
And if they do waive it, just
it
make
does
a note of
happen.
it, we can add them on up to 90 days after the close of the transaction. So if you're looking for a reason to call your brand new buyer 30, 60, 90 days, that's a perfect one. Hey, you didn't get a home warranty at closing, we still have some time. How are things running? How are things sounding?
Yeah. Especially if it's an older home,
Yes.
15,
Even
20
a
years
newer
old.
home, you guys,
You know?
45% of the appliances that we fix are under 5 years old. 45% of appliances we fix are under 5 years old.
And one last thing, think about it, 1 second, Ann. If I was a buyer's agent now, and the buyer waived the home warranty for $810, and a month later I'm calling up with a phone call, how you doing, Gav? How's the house going? Yeah, you moving in, all good. You never got that home warranty? Yeah, Tim, I probably should have, but it was $810. You know, how about we split it? I've done that dozens of times in my career. I didn't want to spend the $400, but that client will remember me forever. Because after it closed, I took $400, $300, whatever it is, out of my pocket. And then when that AC, blows out, I'm on the Christmas card list forever. I really am, okay? So you might, and again, agents say, oh shit, Tim, $400. You made $27,000 on the deal. You don't want to give $400 to your client for a home warranty? Come on, guys, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, exactly, All right, okay, Ann, go ahead, Ann.
What is the deductible?
100.
$100.
Oh, that's cheap.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot.
It's $100, and it's really essentially just to roll the truck in the driveway. And if you have more than one plumbing issue, get them all on the same work order. Still $100.
Yeah. Hey, one more thing real quick. Barbara just reminded me. You're going to get commission instructions, right? And you're going to send them to me, and I'm going to sign them, okay? And sometimes you initial them, okay? What do you want to make sure, besides your commission, is on the commission instructions, if there's a spot for it? Your transaction fee. Right. So many agents forget it, and then maybe they missed it. Maybe me and Wendy missed it. Maybe Maria missed it. It's your friggin' money. You can't miss it, okay? You got to put that on there, because a lot of times a deal will close and people will go into Maria, where's my $800? That the buyer paid. Well, you didn't tell anybody.
I see though, a lot of the escrow officers are saying, what's your transaction fee? What's the percentage on both ends?
It comes out automatically in my opening letter to the both agents.
So really, really important, because you don't want to eat that money if your client did indeed pay it. That's money that they paid, and you don't have to. So kind of keep that in mind. All right, one more, anybody? Nobody? You sure? Ann, Lorraine, come on, you guys had 7 or 8 questions. No more? You sure now? Okay. All righty, gang. Laura, Kathleen, thank you, ladies. Just real quick, there's a bunch of other stats in there that we never get a chance to get to, but there's some really good ones in here. Me and Suzanne just did this one. It compares last year to this year, and we'll keep track of it every month. So just good numbers to know as you're talking to a client. Well, Chris, in March of this year, we sold 2,400 homes. Last year, we sold 2,100, whatever the numbers might be. Okay? Oh, Jesus. Oh, no, Wendy, yes. And Maria, too. There she is.
Right there.
Bam.
Okay, so real quick, guys, I know it sounds easy, but we're having a lot of agents and a couple senior agents not doing the steps for a listing properly. Okay, so you do your listing presentation. You do your listing paperwork. You do not put the house on the MLS without having listing paperwork. I can't tell you, 20 years in, somebody did not have listing paperwork. They just said, well, my buyer is, my seller is a client of mine over many years. I'm just going to put it on the market because he wants it on tomorrow, and then I'll get it signed. Well, what happened was that client, she put it on MLS, and that client redlined half of the listing, and he said, I'm not signing it until. You can't redline the LVR contract. You just can't, right? So she was telling him, no, this is how it's going to be. Sent it to us. We had to send it to the attorney. There was a whole big thing. He still refused to sign it. So this person said, I'm just going to take it off the MLS. The minute your property goes on the MLS, it can't just be taken off. We have to have proper paperwork. You have to have a cancellation. You have to have a change order. So once that hits that, it's public knowledge. So if you're going to do it behind the scenes, then we can kind of work through the paperwork. But once it goes on the MLS, guys, that's it. We now need a paper trail of documentation. So just make sure you're doing it in this order. Presentation, paperwork, photos, measurements, lockbox, MLS, signposts. That's how it works, okay? So just FYI, whether you're new or you're 20 years in, sometimes we just don't follow that, and it gets us in the jam. So also, I put down here corporate broker information on there. It's not Tim on your paperwork, guys. It's Mark Otero. So always make sure you put Mark Otero and his broker license number in there. All right, that's it.
Question, about measurements. About measurements. How, we need to measure?
Are you the listing agent? All that information you put in the MLS is
Where'd I go?
your
Where'd she go?
responsibility. So
Jesus.
I go to Home Depot and I get a laser scanner, and measure and I just hold it, bing, red line.
Yeah,
bing,
I
red
can't
line,
see that
that's
far
it.
where I'm supposed
But
to
it's
click.
all-
Is there an X?
It's not guaranteed, but you can't leave that blank. You wanna put proper measurements for every single room, if it has a fan, if it has a closet, just do your job, cause the more information you put in there, the better you're gonna market your property. So if you don't put that it has
anyway.
a loft, and somebody's looking for a house with a loft, you're probably not gonna get seen, you know, so you have to kind of go there, you're gonna take pictures, then that way when you're putting it in the MLS, there is a form called the MLS data sheet, guys. It's for you to take to the property and mark, okay, this room has a fan and a plug and a phone jack and, you know, and then when you get home to put it in the MLS, you just go back to that paperwork and follow along. It's super simple, it's in transaction desk, and most agents don't even know that it's there, but that way you're just not guessing as you do it, and be accurate with the electric or gas, because some people buy a house because it's just electric, and they have an electric dryer, and you said it was electric, and they bought the house, and they got there, and they're like, they're out of town, they didn't know. You've got to try to be as super accurate as possible with that.
One more thing about that, and I'm guilty of this. You get a listing, or you're going to take a listing, and it was on the market 4 years ago. What do you think most of us do when we enter the stuff into MLS? We just copy the other stuff, right? That could be wrong, right? And now you're wrong, okay? So don't be lazy. I mean, let's be, the average home in town is $585,000. The average commission is 2.5% of that. You're going to make 14, 15 grand. Spend 30 minutes doing it the right way, gang, okay? It's really, really important that you put the right data in there, okay? I know it's laborious. We hate doing it. Oh, my God. The yellow screen pops up, and the red mistakes come on, and it's, but you got to do it. It's really, really, really important, okay? All right, gang. Also, what's in there, like I said, some stats. Look at them in there as much as you can. If you want to come back at noon, corned beef, cabbage, some green beer, and all that kind of good stuff will be here. So see you guys later. Oh, where's Suzanne? Oh, you got it? Laura, how many are on there?
20.
Pick a number from 1 to 20.
13.
13. The winner is? Unbelievable. Kathleen, pick another number from 1 to 20, not 13.
8.
Number 8.
Sylvia Zeller.
Look at this. There we go. Bam, bam, bam. See? Congrats.